Hey everybody, Jordan here with SnapLogic Solutions Engineer. Just wanted to hop on here real quick and go through a demo of an application that I've been working on for the last few months. Just going to run through this real quick, just show the capabilities of it. I think it's a pretty awesome just application of the SnapLogic technology to create AI agents and for things that are actually useful within the enterprise. So this is what I call the Echo Sales Coach. It's your AI sales companion. So just real quick, we're going to go over the challenges, key challenges, the solution, schematics of the application, and a brief demo. So some of the key challenges when, for sales people, whether they're account executives, sales engineers, BDRs, ISRs, things like that, is taking notes, paying attention on the calls, and just being present and just making sure you're capturing all of the information you need to be capturing. Um, so, bouncing focus during calls, and then lack of real-time visibility, which creates uncertainty, and then CRM updates, which we'll get into in a sec, can often take a back seat. And then in terms of, or on top of, actually taking good notes and paying attention on calls, there's the coaching aspect of, sales leadership, whether that's sales engineering leadership or account executive leadership, just sales department in general is an ability to have quality contextual coaching. And so that's where kind of this comes into play, an all-in-one solution. So present to you the Echo Sales Coach. So it's a Slack native AI sales companion. It provides real-time feedback for ISRs, SDRs, BDRs, AEs, and SEs. It auto updates Salesforce opportunity fields, and it's effortlessly scalable across the enterprise. So before I jump into the schematics, just some of the key features. It provides Slack delivery of a call summary if I was recording this, I mean, I am recording this, but if as soon as this recording was done, um, the call would go through some analysis, and then it would ultimately end up into your Slack DMs. Again, I'll go over the schematics in a sec, but Slack DMs, you get a PDF to the detailed coaching analysis, link to the Salesforce opportunity, link to the course outreach call. That'll make sense in a second. And then the call source, again, that'll make sense in a second. And then we're able to have a conversational talk, conversational follow-up with AI within Slack. It's organized call storage and it integrates Salesforce. And like I said, it's secure and scalable. So jumping over to the schematics, it's a pretty, I guess, complex agentic setup. So this is just showing the flow of data. So the tech stack we're working with is Chorus, SnapLogic, Salesforce, and Slack. So as soon as the Chorus call is completed, which is just Chorus is just a call recording software, which does provide AI summaries and action items, but it's to me it's a little limited, and there's no follow up. Like as soon as it's completed, it's AI summary. There's no actual additional follow up. So with this application, we ingest a Chorus call, which is also connected to Outreach, which is a dialer. I think it's a dialer. What you call it? That hits the driver pipeline, does some transformations, hits our worker pipeline, which calls on these sets of tools. I just have these. I didn't break out all the tools in here. I wanted to keep this high level, and we're going to touch on this one in depth here, the Salesforce Opportunity Manager. And then there's also the analysis tool. So it does a grade of the transcript. It does an overview of the transcript, pulls out the risks, creates a PDF of all that, and puts that into a nicely formatted PDF. And then it creates a summary and then sends all that in a Slack DM, which then you can talk to you can talk to Echo in the thread of the message. And we're going to go through that. That's how we keep context of just that transcript and all of the tools that were, I guess, executed in the pipeline. And so then you can just kind of go back and forth. There's no conversation history saved just because it can get a little unwieldy. So I just have one-shot LLM calls for questions with the context of the transcripts and the tool outputs provided. And then we're going to dive into the Salesforce Opportunity Manager, which is the next. It's a sub-agent. So while it's a tool in the main driver, it's actually its own agent. So here's that analysis worker, what we were just looking at, which is this right here. So that worker pipeline is the analysis worker. Hits the driver pipeline of the Salesforce.com Opportunity Manager, and then calls on these tools to do some reading of the existing information within the opportunity. So it actually creates its own SOQL query. So it queries the contact and the the opportunity objects to pull out the existing med pick and the existing next steps. And then there's a med pick comparison tool and a next steps tool that has actual guardrails in place to provide a update of the med pick information. So if it doesn't exist, takes that into account, and then based off of the transcript, it'll input new med pick information if it pulls it out of the transcript. If there's existing med pick that's good, it'll have logic that preserves good metrics and only enhances the entries. And then it'll update Salesforce automatically with the enhanced entries of both the medpick and the next steps tool. And then I did some rigorous testing of this and it works well. And see if I'm missing anything there. So that's the Salesforce comparison and or I guess the Salesforce opportunity manager. And yeah, so let's get into a quick demo. So just to kind of show you this is what the ingestion of the chorus call looks like. We're taking in the I guess we're doing an API call of the engagement. So I had to actually create a webhook functionality to do this. We're massaging the data, pulling out the transcript, ultimately vectorizing that. So this right here is where we're actually vectorizing that transcript for the Echo call, Echo DM Slack messages, thread messages, and then prepping that for a prompt ultimately into the analysis. So it seems like a complicated workflow, but it's not. Everything before this join is just prepping what's coming from chorus, and I can probably clean this up a lot. But for the purposes of this video, all that really, I guess the key part of this pipeline is this pattern right here. That's just a pattern you can reuse for your agent driver. So we're not going to dive into that anymore. We're actually just going to go right into Slack and we can see what this actually looks like. So this is the call summary from a call that myself and Jordan Miller, my account executive, had with Netflix. And it goes over just a quick summary of obviously the company, the key attendees, description, and I'm still tweaking this output. I don't know if I totally love the way it's set up, but that's just a matter of editing the prompts. The PDF, this one, I'm not going to click because it doesn't quite look that right, but it does work. Let me see if I can actually find a quick one. Pull that up. Probably should have had that ready. All right, so that's not bad. So this is a call between so it's for Verizon. 75 is actually strong according to the bands that I have set up. Again, this all needs to be tweaked in terms of like the actual grading methodology, but this is the grade, for example, goes into the communication style and tone, the emotional intelligence markers, areas for improvement, recommendations for effective communication, and then it has the primary use cases, the med pick analysis, in detail. So it gets updated in Salesforce, but then there's also a detailed MedPick analysis that gets printed out here. And then there's also a risk analysis and then overall risk level and then some recommendations. Again, this needs to be tweaked. So then the coolest part is, so if we scroll back down to the one I was looking at, so Netflix. So again, it pulls out the opportunity URL, so that links directly to that, the URL of that opportunity. So that'll get pulled up and then it has a link to the actual chorus URL. The source is chorus or outreach because it just helps determine if this was just by quickly looking at this, if it's a video call or a phone call, and then has the transcript file path. So this is key right here. This is actually what keeps the context of the transcript within the thread. So we're dynamically using this as a filter. So this UUID, we're using that as a filter for our Pinecone query because we vectorized the transcript. So we can actually go in here and I actually had a message already queued up, which I asked, what could we have done better? And then it goes over what you could have done better. You could also ask, when, let's see, or just draft me a follow-up email. Give it a sec. I think I turned this on. We shall see. I need to turn on the pipeline. Oh, there it is. All right, so yep, so drafted a follow-up email. And so there's some more tweaks that I can make to this. I can make further tool calling. So right now this is just a one shot. There's no real training of this AI outside of telling prompting the LLM that it's a sales coach and providing some instructions around that. There's no like knowledge base of what a professional sales coach should do. It's just its knowledge base is what is trained out on the internet, and it does a pretty good job already. And most of it is just kind of pulling out information. You can ask, at what time in the transcript did we talk about the metrics or the economic buyer if it's applicable. So yeah, so all of that rolled into one application. I'm still working on it, but it's just about ready to roll out for production. So hopefully we get some good use out of it. So thanks for watching.